Hasa's podcast, Into the River It Flows, Episode 5, Balancing Academics and Home Responsibilities.
Hey guys, welcome back to Hasa's podcast, Into the River Flows. This is episode 5, and today I have Angela as my co-host, and we're joined by Yeng, Xiong, and Ashley Yeng. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Yeng Zhang. I'm a freshman.
Hi guys, my name's Ashley. I'm a junior at UW-Madison.
Nice. What are you guys majoring in?
I'm currently undecided, but I do want to get into music education.
Oh, that's so cool. I wish I could do music. I'm majoring in biology and then with a certificate in Asian American Studies.
I'm majoring in community and nonprofit leadership. I just decided it this semester, so we shall see how that goes. I also want to pair it with something just so that it widens up and broadens up the career options that I have in the future. And I'm also getting a certificate in Asian American Studies.
I am a political science and sociology major.
Did you guys change majors at a point?
I was undecided until I think spring of last year. I was really teetering on like which major I should be in because I came in and I was like, I want to be a doctor. Like I still want to do that, but like there were times where I was like, I don't want to be a bio major. What am I doing here? And I was like, maybe I'll be a sociology major. No, I don't really like that. What if I become like a kinesiology major? And I was like, oh my God. So like I bounced between so many.
To answer your question, Lucinda, yes, I did. I took a 180 actually. I was on that pre-health, pre-med track my freshman year when I came in.
So like it's actually kind of interesting because I have a similar experience of switching majors, I guess, even though I'm undecided. Throughout my entire high school years, I want to be a medical researcher. I took a lot of classes that had to do with that. I like initially thought that I'm gonna be a microbiology major. I really liked AP Bio and like I had a lot of fun. I took stats and like when it came down to like the June of my senior year, I'm like, I really like bio, but I don't think I'm gonna like the career options I have if I go with the bio major because I was in band all 4 years since middle school. Actually, it's always been a constant for me. So I think I can do something with music.
I wish I had explored more in high school. As a high schooler, even like kind of as a middle schooler, I kind of set up my whole entire college and career path to be towards like pre-med. If I was going to major in biology, I was going to major in something STEMmy that would like help me more into the medical field because I guess like I've just set up my whole entire life for it. I didn't know what else I was interested in and like what else I could do. So like if I could go back, I would probably explore more of those.
So right now we are obviously and unfortunately in a pandemic, at least at UW-Madison. It's a hybrid kind of looking schedule where there's some in-person classes and then majority of it's online. If you do have online classes, how is doing mostly your academics remotely? And yeah, what are some challenges that come with like virtual learning for you guys?
Since like I'm not getting ready for classes in the traditional way, I like get lazy, so like I just wake up right before my first class. So like I'm not really awake during the first class. Just like the homework schedule in general, because I feel like if I met with the class in person, I have like a better schedule of like when I have to get things done instead of like constantly having to remind myself, well, like make a schedule of when I should do things and when things are due, what I should have before class, because I don't have to bring the materials to the class. So it's like out of sight, out of mind.
Ying, I agree with that a lot. I am one of those people who happen to like procrastinate a lot, but like I always get it done. So then for some reason my brain goes, oh, you can procrastinate, but you still get it done. So then I always push it to like the last minute or like all of my asynchronous classes. I like make the time for them, but then for some reason it just like never gets done. So it's just like kind of finding that motivation to still continue on and like make it happen. Like you said, it's really hard to wake up earlier than your class, So I've been like trying to make a new schedule for myself, like wake up by like 8 o'clock so that I can go to my classes at like 9:55, eat breakfast. I'm trying to keep a stable sleep schedule, but it's not going so well. So
I've done this before and I'm so guilty of it, but I would have 8:50 classes. Usually it's discussion. I'll go in class, but I'll be laying in bed just listening to my TA talk. Have you guys ever done that?
Yes, I definitely have. I remember I had my organic chemistry lecture up. I was just laying on my bed watching it, and all of a sudden I was asleep. And then there were like 5 minutes left of the class. So I totally get that.
Last semester, especially, my friend and I, we stayed up late, just like talk, and then we're like, don't really want to go to class tomorrow. So, like, we just slept in. I shouldn't do this, but like, I'm doing it. The ship's already sailing.
Sadly, I already did it this semester because it was like one of my lectures, and we meet once a week, and I already did my research beforehand on like the speaker that was coming in. So when she was like talking, I'm like, this is so boring because she's just reiterating everything that I already read, so I know everything that she's saying already. My desk is right here. I put my laptop on this, and I laid on the bed. I put the volume up all the way, and then I just fell asleep, and like I could still hear, so I was like, okay, and I knocked out. And then I woke up. Thankfully, I woke up. I didn't set any alarm. I woke up when they were like saying their thank you. And I was like, oh shoot, like I need to get out of this before they know I'm sleeping.
It's nerve-wracking. I also think it's because like we don't get enough sleep. I personally cannot fall asleep before like 1 a.m. anymore. I don't know why. There's something wrong with my internal clock. It is broken beyond compare. But like I cannot sleep before 1 o'clock. And then for some reason, I always wake up by like 9 a.m. the next day if I don't have an alarm. And so like it all kind of just out the window.
I just feel like so disappointed in myself because before first semester, like right before classes started, I had a sleep schedule of going to sleep at 11, waking up at like 6, right? Right after classes started, I like pulled all-nighters and like didn't go to sleep at the right time. So like I was sleep deprived through the entire semester. And then 1 week before this semester started, I went to sleep at like 8 and woke up at 4 in the morning for like a week straight. And then like a few days before classes started, I like went back to my terrible sleep schedule. I'm just like, I had it. It was dialed in, and then I just let it go.
Speaking about our well-being and being sleep deprived, how has this affected your mental and physical well-being? Like just being online and being back at home and everything?
I'm doing as well as I can be, in my opinion. I'm lucky because I get to stay on campus. I have my own apartment on campus because, like, my mentality completely changes when I'm at home versus I'm at my apartment. Like, my focus is a lot better here on campus than it is at home just because, like, I have a sister and, like, my whole family is there as well. And so I'm like, oh, what are you guys doing? I can always, like, find something to, like, go and do something else. But, like, here at my apartment, I live alone. I live like alone in a studio apartment. So like it's kind of hard to continuously like wake up and like just feel motivated to continue going just because like I live alone. So I don't see a lot of people. And so the only time I like see people is when like I've like pre-planned it out, made sure like I've taken all of the COVID precautions and everything. I've gotten tested and everything. Otherwise like I can go on for weeks without seeing people, and which is totally unhealthy. My mentality has kind of just like, woo, it's just gone down. I am also doing therapy, so like it's helping me a lot with all that. I can like just kind of like decompress, and luckily I have like friends and family who I can talk to like on a regular basis. So like it keeps me connected, even though physically they're not with me.
It takes a lot of strength to be able to go to therapy. But personally, staying at home is not the best, but it's also not like my family doesn't understand how school works. So it's not the hardest, but in terms of mental health, I think I'm doing okay. And I think that's just because I have a really close friend group, and we usually get on Discord every day and like, just like hang out, talk about life.
I love that. Like just like doing homework together or just like being in the presence with others is really nice because like last semester me and my friends would like FaceTime and just like do homework together. So we wouldn't even talk, we just do homework. And actually like going to therapy, I give you props for that too.
Thanks for sharing, everyone. Yeah, again, like what everyone has been saying, Ashley, thanks for sharing that. And Ying, just thanks for sharing too. I like love the fact that your friends and you are like are meeting on Discord, because I know not just with classes, but like now everything's shut down. It's harder to connect with people. Just having that kind of connection online.
How do you try to balance virtual school, the environment of that, and your responsibilities back home?
When we first quarantined, I lived at home. So I lived at home for that one semester, and then I lived there for like half the summer, and then I came back to live on campus. And I think like the process to change that was like super hard. I never realized how much my house was like my getaway, because like I realized how much I don't focus at home versus how much I do focus at school. So like I would go home and I would just forget I had to do things, or like I would be studying and my little 5-year-old sister is like knocking on my door. She's like, I want to go play. Let's go play something, you know? Thankfully, both my parents are very like aware of school, but like I feel like they aren't as aware of the things that I have to do, what is like the best way to help me, I guess. I still had some things to do, but my mom definitely like let me do a lot less than what I normally do. So like I would just like be washing the dishes or something, and like I would help her cook once in a while, but like I didn't have to help her cook every single time. If I had like an exam or something, I'd have to let my parents know, obviously. And so then they'd be like, I'll make sure your sister doesn't come and bother you, which happened several times. It was just like small stuff like that made it really hard.
Yeah, I agree with Ashley how like being at home makes it hard to focus, because I think that school is an environment where you're encouraged to learn, because you've been conditioned to think that every time you go to school you're more focused. When you come home, well, when I come home, it's I relax for a little bit. Even doing homework is harder for me to do, especially when I'm at home, especially because it's limited space too. My room is my office, it's also where I relax, it's also where I sleep, so like it's definitely hard to focus on schoolwork. With my family, I'm lucky because I'm the youngest one. My siblings understand that like he's in class, I shouldn't try to talk to him here, but like I can talk to him here. My parents, they understand too, but I think it's just they don't know when I have classes. I'm thinking about posting a schedule outside of my room because I am in my room most of the time. So they're like, okay, he has class here, I shouldn't bother him. So it's just, I think, something I have to communicate better with my parents. I also from time to time, when I am out of my room, they're like, can you wash the dishes? I'm like, sure, because like I don't do much at home anyways.
When you're back at home, like you've been away for like a while, and you know that like your time at home is ending soon. Like after high school, I feel like that clock kind of just ticks, and you're conscious of it, that one day you're not going to be living with your family anymore, that things are going to be different. So you really value all the time that you have with them. So when you have school assignments and they're doing something, you kind of just push that school assignment away because we value our family, and we want to be able to spend time with them.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like the amount of times that I've pushed homework just so like my family can all sit together in one room and watch a movie for like 2 hours. There have been like, countless times. Cause like my sister, as I've said before, she's like 5. So like she's still growing. So she's the only sister I have. Just our whole entire family getting together to like do something on like a Friday night or like a Thursday night or something, it's like super important. Whenever I go home, or like I went home during that spring, I would also be in classes, or like I would be in classes and my door would be open. So she'd be like frequenting my room and downstairs just to like pop in and say hi, or like she'll like come and annoy me. So she's like, we have to play, or something. I totally get that. Family's very important. It's hard to balance it all.
I feel like your little sister because I'm the baby of the family. So like sometimes when my other siblings come home, because some of my siblings don't live at home, I'm like, like let's do something. Let's like watch a movie, and like I like push my homework away just so I can like squeeze in some time with them. Yeah, I understand where like everyone's coming from.
Totally relate. This is so off topic, but I know we've all experienced like kind of being home at one point, even if we happen to not be there right now. But has there been like an embarrassing moment where your microphone was on and like you caught your like family in the background, like saying something, or I don't know, just something embarrassing that either your camera was on, your microphone was on accident, and like I guess your whole class heard that?
There was one moment I had. I don't know if Lucinda remembers this or not because it was last semester, but there was like I forgot what we were doing in one class, but like I started singing in one class, and then like the professor paused for a little bit. She's like, can you guys please remember to mute your mic after you guys are done talking? So I'm like, I sang in the middle of one class when she was lecturing.
What song did you sing?
Chandelier.
Oh, nice, nice. Okay, okay.
It was good though. It was good. And at first she thought it was a question, so she's like, "What's the question?" But he was singing, and I think I forgot if I said it or not. But someone was like, "Yeng, your mic is on," and then he just like muted so fast. Like it was okay though. It was funny because one class can get a bit like dead sometimes, so I think it livened it up, and like a lot of people, it's early in the morning, 8:50, so I think it was a nice like energy booster. So it's not, I didn't think of it more as embarrassing, but more as like something that lightens up the mood.
I did it for the class, it was on purpose.
I haven't had like any unmutings or like weird video things, thankfully, knock on wood. I have taken an exam. My parents were away, so I had to watch my sister. And so I'm taking this exam with honor lock, and like, it has to be recorded and everything. And so like if my face isn't in the view of the camera, like it turns off. In the very beginning of my exam, my sister like comes into the room and she goes, "Let's play." And I'm like, "Riley, we can't be playing right now." And then she goes, "Okay, I'll just sit right here." I'm like, "Okay, you have to be quiet, okay?" And so she's like screaming her head off, and she's like telling me all this like cool stuff about her toys. I'm like, "Riley, you need to be quiet. I need you I need you to be quiet." And so like she's like talking for like 20-30 minutes, and then like all of a sudden she's like quiet, and I'm like, "What happened?" And I turned around and I looked. Oh my God, she fell asleep against my chair. Like literally, she just fell asleep on the floor against my chair. And I like looked straight into the camera and I'm like, if I'm like looking back, I'm so sorry. I'm just checking on my sister. I swear I'm not cheating or anything, but I just need to make sure she's okay, Because I couldn't get up in the middle of my test and like pick her up and put her on the sofa or anything. So I was like, this is my reason. Please don't dock any points. But thankfully nothing happened, so it all worked out well.
We can talk about something that we like being, like something that we enjoy being back at home or visiting back at home.
For me, right, the most like easy answer would be the food, because living at Whitty, it was great and all, but like if you wanted like decent food, it will always be Carson's for me for like the chicken wings. Yeah, it was like in an entire semester of surviving off of chicken wings and like rice, coming home and like having a variety of food and not worrying about like how I'm gonna pay for it is like really, I guess, great and like relaxing. But like it's also something I have to remember about when I move back to Madison.
For me, it would just be like seeing my family, because like whenever I go onto campus to like limit the chances of me bringing anything from here over there, I stay on campus as long as possible, and then I get like a negative test before I go home. So like just seeing my parents and my sister, just because like my sister is growing up a lot faster than I always think she is, and so like I always feel like I'm missing out on her childhood. And so like whenever I see her, like we'll play like Candyland games, or like we'll watch movies, or like I got her super duper into Avatar over winter break, so we'll watch Avatar together. So it's just like small stuff like that. It's just spending time with them. That's what I enjoy the most.
Yeah, so following up with that, I guess we all kind of talked about like our siblings and our families back at home, and then we all really enjoy that. How is it like? Do you guys have siblings all like in your household, and like how is it just juggling all that with your academic?
I think it's just like keeping up with my sister's energy, because like there's a 15-year difference between us. So like she is so much more energetic than I will ever probably be. But it's just like having her try to kind of understand like, oh, sister has to like go to school, or like sister's here, but she also has to be conscious of other things. So like I've like slowly kind of taught her like the phrase like homework never ends. So like sometimes she'll come to me and she's like, "Sissy, are you doing homework?" And I'm like, "Yep." And she goes, "Because homework never ends, right?" I'm like, "That's right." That's right. Yeah, so it's just trying to get her to kind of understand, because like she's not in school yet. She was born a little late, so then she has to be pushed into the next year. So she won't start school until this fall.
For me, it's pretty easy because my siblings have had the college life, so they are efficiently independent. They, I guess, respect my independence, so I like can do what I want in the house, I guess. as long as I'm not doing anything reckless. They usually leave me to like I guess be myself at home, and then like also have like shared time with them. So it's pretty easy for me to balance life in school and like life with family.
I agree. I feel like we all touched on really important parts too, because like although we are like going to school, we also have our family. And we're also like sisters, brothers, our daughters, our sons. So we have these responsibilities that we also care about. So I like that. How has it been with meeting people in your classes and making friends?
I feel like it's significantly harder to make friends. Like, just like, because like more than half the time, if you're on a Zoom, like no one's camera is on. So, like, you look at a name on a black screen. So, like, you can't really connect voice, face, and name together. And so, like, I'm one of those people who will not reach out to another random person in the class. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm not going to go out of my way to like reach out to a random stranger that I don't know what they look like or have ever met. So, like, that's not going to happen for me. So, it makes finding friends a lot harder. Because, like, if it was like, oh, you're grouped up into this like group and then you have to do this project together, so that kind of forces you to like meet other people. But nowadays that doesn't happen over Zoom, or at least I'm in classes right now that doesn't require a group project or like any sort of group meeting like that. So it's definitely been a lot harder. Last semester I happened to meet a couple of people, but just because like we were all struggling in the class, so then like we made like a Snapchat group and like we would like text each other, but like we would never FaceTime each other. So like to this day, I don't know what they look like. All I know is that we all helped each other get through organic chemistry, but otherwise, like making friends is a lot harder. And like I don't have any online class, in-person classes either. So like I can't proactively meet other people.
Thanks for sharing, Ashley. I agree with you too. I'm really curious to kind of hear Ying and Lucinda's kind of perspective on that.
So personally, I agree with Ashley, where like I wouldn't be the person to reach out and try to get to know someone. So a lot of my friends are met through like dorms, because I lived on the MLC. They're like it was co-ed, so there's like I guess a lot of interactions between people in general, and like people like there's like two of my friends, right, there's like I want to get to know these people on the floor more, so they just like went around knocking at doors like, do you want a donut? So like that's how I made I became friends with them, and then I guess we just saw who else vibed with us, so like we just formed a friend group there. Like there were Snapchat groups that were made for my first year interest group. It was like friendships, but not really. It was more like a study group where you're just like, like, how do you do this? Like, can you tell the professor that like, my internet's not working today, or like it's just like strictly for school reasons instead of like personal reasons. But I did have an interesting interaction in the bathroom, because it was when I first moved in, and someone's like, hey, my name is this, my name is that, and it's like kind of sucks because we're in this situation, so like the only place that we can meet each other is the bathroom. I'm like, yes and like no at the same time, because I'm like, I'm brushing my teeth. I'm not like ready to talk yet, but yeah, it was nice meeting you, dude.
That's super funny because like I remember that it was like first semester and I was like I really wanted to meet people in my dorm, but I just didn't know how to. I'm like, do I crack my door open? Like, will people come in? And if they come in, like I won't be expecting them, so I'll be like, oh my god, like hi, So like I had a Brita and I would just go fill it. Like I would fill it to like this much so that I could go fill it a lot. So I would like bump into someone and be like, you're filling water here too, you know? So I would just kind of do that, or like I would fill my water bottle, even though I had like water in the burrito that could pour it in there, because I'm like, what if I bump into someone? I'm like, okay, let's just do this. And also like I have a lot of friends from high school that went here, so I have like an established friend group, I guess. But they're all like in STEM, which is really nice because they have each other to lean on and they understand each other. But I am not in STEM, so I feel like I want friends that I can do the study groups with, but I want these friendships to become like actual friendships and not just friendships out of convenience, because I like want to send like goofy pictures, like I don't understand that, like that test had me dead, something like that, but I really don't know if I can do that because they really think I'm weird. Like, will they match my energy? That's kind of my thought process I have, because you don't have time to ease into it, and when it's like virtual, it's really hard.
Thanks for sharing, everyone. I think like it's really interesting to hear like how like in a time like this how we're still trying to connect with people. It's amazing. Thanks Ashley and Yeng for joining Lucinda and I today, talking about online classes and navigating that. We learned a lot. It's not easy, but there's a lot we can still look forward to.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Until next time, for all those who are listening, stay tuned for episode 6. We would like to thank Anchor.fm as well as Audacity for making our podcast possible.